Battle for the Planet of the Apes was first released in the US in June of 1973. This fifth installment in the Apes franchise would signal an end of the series, which had begun just 5 years earlier with the seminal classic Planet of the Apes. Set a decade after the events of the previous film, we find Caesar in charge of a commune that's home to both apes and humans. With the world having descended into chaos, Caesar is doing his best to keep a fragile peace between the two species under his care. But a group of gorillas led by General Aldo have grown tired of his cooperative attitude toward the humans and begin to make plans to take over the settlement. Meanwhile, Caesar, longing to learn more about his origins, leads an expedition into the Forbidden City, where archival footage of his parents is thought to have survived the recent atomic wars. What he finds is a group of hostile humans who have been mutated by the nuclear weapons that have leveled the city. After narrowly escaping, Caesar knows that it is only a matter of time before the mutants attack the settlement. Soon the battle, no pun intended, will rage on both sides, with the fate of the planet hanging in the balance. Writer Paul Dehn, who had penned the previous 3 sequels, was hired to do a story treatment, but couldn't write the full screenplay due to health reasons. Husband and wife team John and Joyce Corrington, hot off their success of their 1971 hit The Omega Man, were brought in to handle script duties. The Corringtons had no prior science fiction writing credits and would later confess that they'd never seen any of the previous Apes movies. Dehn was then hired to come back and do a final polish. According to Dehn, he rewrote 90% of the dialogue and reworked the ending, which features the statue of Caesar crying in the last shot. This is something the Corringtons hated, saying that it turned their stomachs when they saw it. Principal photography took place on the Fox Movie Ranch with a budget of $1.7 million. J. Lee Thompson, who had directed the previous film Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, returned to the helm, but would later claim that he was unhappy with the script and the scope of the production, saying that the budget should have been higher than it was. Sadly, producer Arthur P. Jacobs died just 2 weeks after the film's release from a heart attack at age 51. The film made just $8.8 million at the box office, the lowest of the series. That, coupled with the negative reviews and the loss of producer Jacobs, signaled an end of the series, which would remain dormant on the big screen until the 2001 reboot by Tim Burton. However, the concept did live on as a television series that premiered in 1974. I've spoken before about how much I enjoyed the series as a kid. I will say, though, that Battle for the Planet of the Apes was my least favorite of the original 5 films back then. I don't remember why I felt that way. Maybe some of the concepts were a bit over my head at the time, and maybe the pacing was a little slow for my taste. Either way, this one always felt like a lesser effort to me and is one of the reasons why I haven't bothered to watch it again in many years. With that said, I enjoyed this recent rewatch and found plenty there to like. For one, the idea of apes not killing other apes was a compelling concept and lends to a sense of tragedy when General Aldo eventually breaks that tradition later in the film. The battle sequence toward the end was better staged and more brutal than I remember, and having the mutant humans serve as a precursor to the enemies from my favorite of the series' sequel, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, was a great addition that helped tie the overall series together. Though not a perfect film by any means, there is some good here, and I'm glad that I had a chance to finally revisit it after a long time away. What are your thoughts on Battle for the Planet of the Apes? Do you feel that it works as a fitting conclusion to the series? Let me know what you think. Thanks as always for watching, and until the next time, have a good one.